The rain in Spain stays mainly in the...
Step by step through the sun and rain, over mountains, across the plains. WCBH is on the go. Join us as we walk the Camino.
Good morning, day 24. Walking today from Carrion de los Condos to Ledigos. It's about 22, 23 kilometres, so slightly above our average. But the key thing here is first stretch is 17 kilometres between towns. So that's a fairly long run without running across a bar or a cafe. So key today was to make sure that we've got plenty of stuff in our packs, water and food, etc. Yesterday was Sunday and everything in Carrion was closed pretty much for a Sunday. So we couldn't actually stock up on supplies, but fortunately this morning at a bar cafe we had breakfast, and then just as we were leaving, we're thinking, okay, we've had breakfast, that will do us. But just as we were leaving, one of the small supermarkets was opening up, so we're able to sort of stock up on, what did we get? Baguette, biscuits, some nuts, some fruit. So we've got more than enough now, probably too much. And we're carrying a bit of extra water with us today. Day begins by walking along the roadside, still very much in a rural region of the Meseta, still very much getting chased by tractors. I think 2 or 3 have come past now, and we've got another one just bearing down on us at the moment from in front. Massive, massive tractors. Most of them are the familiar green and yellow of John Deere, a couple of red ones, don't know what the red brand is, but a big day. So part 1 of today's walk was a 17-kilometre stretch. We have just reached a small town where we stopped for lunch. Now, this 17-kilometre stretch, imagine one of those cartoons where the characters are walking along, but the background just stays the same, or they just recycle the same cell that goes around and around. Probably not used less now in today's animation, but the old type animation where the same background just went around and around and again. And that's what we had today for 17 kilometres. Imagine putting 3 characters on the road, us 3, a sandy, here comes the tractor to interrupt. Great timing, as always. Us as the characters on the road, a straight, sandy, rocky stretch of road, green fields either side, the same 3 or 4 trees with no leaves that just kept repeating itself, and it just kept going for 17 kilometres. Oh, and a really strong, icy cold breeze. But the good thing about the breeze, it was coming in from behind, so it was hitting us in the back, not in the face. So that was, we weren't walking into the breeze and we weren't actually getting that wind burn on our face, but it was icy. And that's the way it remained for 17 kilometres. Every now and then you'd get a little bit of a rise and you think, yes, there's a rise. Just over that rise is going to be the town. And you get over the rise, and what meets you over the rise? More road. Kilometres and kilometres and kilometres, 17 to be precise. But we did end up seeing a church bell tower. And so we knew that there was a dip coming up because we couldn't see anything else but just the top of the church bell tower. And then there was a nice little dip. And the first thing we see is an albergue with a cafe bar attached to it. We went in just to grab a tea, and they had hot chips on the menu, which is not something that we usually go for, but they had a bottle of, let me just read it for you, peri sauce, chili sauce. And wow, we, as you may or may not know, we love chili. We've seen it 3 times now since we've been here. One, it was just cayenne peppers that were battered and deep fried for pinchos, and we had that. Second time, comes another tractor. Gee, we're good with these tractors. Another time was jalapenos stuffed with cheese and then battered and deep fried. We had that as well. And this is the 3rd time, a bottle of peri sauce. So we have absolutely drowned these chips in peri peri sauce. It's good peri peri sauce. Like, it's got a real kick. It's not some sort of peri peri sauce in name only and they've forgotten the chili. No, this one, it packs a real punch. You're going to enjoy this, enjoy our hot drink, and then we have 6 kilometres into Ledigos, where we're stopping for tonight. And yesterday I thought our most efficient 6 kilometres was our last 6 kilometres into town. So let's hope we can back that up today and get into Ledigos. Hopefully we get in there probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock this afternoon. So we're here. We've made it to our accommodation in Ledigos. Actually, we nearly missed out on our accommodation. Apparently, I'd booked for November. Most of our bookings we're doing through the booking.com app. This one was direct from the website. It was in Spanish. It possibly goes some extent to explaining the mishap. Anyway, the person who checked us in, she was amazing. Sorted that out, just transferred the booking. And fortunately enough, it's not peak season yet. So there was a private room available that we were able to have as well. Now, this place, some places, like it's the bare minimum. This place, even though it's an albergue with a private room, has got everything sorted. Like, we're talking about very, very welcoming from all the staff. Bar, cafe, restaurant, dinner, going completely against the grain. Dinner is served at 6 o'clock, not from 6, at 6. So we've been skipping all of the dinners. Actually, a lot of the places were in private accommodation, so we have to go out and find our own dinner. But the people eat here 8, 9 o'clock at night, way too late for us. The girl who checked us in, she's from Venezuela. She thought that the 6 p.m. Dinner time was about spot on as well. So that suits us well. Now, the dinners, I suppose, are a little bit more expensive than what we've been having. However, there's good reason to celebrate, because just as we were walking into Ledigos, there was a sign that says, "Congratulations, you have made it to the halfway point." We've walked 380. We've got 380 to go. That doesn't equal 790. I think that equals 760. So this calculation is off a 760. The next town that we're going to, which starts with an S, something like Sargun, it also claims that it's the halfway mark. Maybe it's claiming from the 390 mark. Who knows? But anyway, good reason to have a 3-course meal tonight, which we've had once before. That was night 2 at Roncesvalles when we were in the albergue. The albergue experience, we weren't the biggest fan of, but we did enjoy the dinner that we had there. So a good way to celebrate. But this place has everything. A bowl of fruit in an albergue, like, pack it for the next day and there's your fruit done for the day. A kettle, you know how much I'm a fan of the kettle. Welcome chocolate on your bed, foot cream as well after your shower to put cream on your feet, like this place. And it's clean and it's new. There's a restaurant, and a washer and dryer that's operated by a card, so you don't have to have the right coins as well. Fireplace, didn't we see, Chan? We've seen the firewood. There's a fireplace. Yeah, this would have to be up there with one of our favourite accommodations. We still prefer the apartments over this style accommodation, just for the sheer space and the kitchen, etc. But when we go into the next classification of accommodation, this would have to be the pick of the bunch. Oh, lots of hot water and a good hard shower. Just like that Seinfeld episode, no low flow, we want high flow, and it was high flow. So at the halfway mark today, we'll also celebrate once again that we're at the halfway mark tomorrow, depending on the start and the stop point there. But that's quite amazing. This was day 23, 24, something like that. 23, Chan says, to make it to the halfway mark. So that puts us into the 40 days, thereabouts, to complete it. We will pick up speed because the first few days were deliberately shorter as we worked our way into it. Now, we've had our 2 rest days, one in Pamplona and one in Burgos, and we've got 2 rest days to go. One in Leon, which will be in a few days' time. I think Sherilyn calculated it, that we'll arrive in Leon on Friday. So we'll book an apartment there or a nice hotel there. So to have the 2 nights in Leon. And then the next rest day will be in Saria, and Saria is a big starting point. In fact, the last time Cheryl and we walked the Camino was from Saria to Santiago, the last 100 and something kilometers. You're about 5 days out. It's a big starting point. So by the time we get close to Saria, we want to have everything booked from Saria all the way in. But the accommodation that we stayed at Saria, we're going to try and get again. It was I don't know what you'd classify. It was a casa, a house. The room was okay. It had a bathroom outside of the room from memory, but the reason we loved it so much was the host and the breakfast that she put on for us. It was all inclusive. I can't remember if the dinner was inclusive. Might have been inclusive. We missed the dinner because we were so jet lagged. But the breakfast, and I just remember there was quince paste, homemade quince paste at the breakfast, and she packaged some up for me and some bread to take on the walk as well. So we're going to try and get into that accommodation when we get there. But an amazing day today, a hard slog 17 kilometres without anything, and then a remainder 6 or 7 kilometres to get here to Ledigos, to the halfway mark.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the
Step by step through the sun and rain, over mountains, across the plains. WCBH is on the go. Join us as we walk the Camino.